The Mike and Tony Show is intended for a mature audience. Listener discretion is advised.
What's up, everybody? This is Tyler Stanfield, hanging out here with my friends on the Mike and Tony Show. If you guys need some hats cleaned, hit up my boy Tony.
Episode 188, Pierce. We are back at it again.
Yes, sir.
How was your week? How have you been?
I was at a conference all week, the CAFA.
Oh, right.
Conference.
You're King CAFA now.
I'm going to be, well,
we talked about that.
I'm King CAFA elect. So I'll be King CAFA in 2026.
The CAFA, the king of the people.
Yeah, the king of the people.
Elected by the people, so it's not a king,
so,
I guess.
Yeah, I'm president-elect of my association that I belong to. So in 2026, I will be the real deal. So, yeah. But
awesome.
yeah, it was a conference this week, and financially people right now are letting loose because we're going through a lot of stuff. And so...
Yeah. That's what forced me to do this.
Yeah. But yeah, I will let you know, last night we partied pretty hard, okay?
Okay.
I got 2 hours and 46 minutes of sleep. My recovery dollar, I am a sleepless elite, bro. My recovery was 73%.
That's okay. That's really good for a night like that. I've noticed the same pattern for myself. When I get crappy sleep, sometimes my recovery is like really good the next day, which is puzzling. Doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
I told you this week and next week's tough for me, so I've had shitty sleep for 5 days in a row, 6 days in a row, something like that.
Last night was my first shitty night in a while.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was like, man, I should just take a nap before I come in here. And I was like, I might sleep through. It's like, don't do it.
The voice of I'm very open about it, my favorite guest of all time,
Yes.
Justin Freeman.
Back
on the show. Is this the second time?
Third time.
This is the
Third time. Okay.
Yeah.
You don't know
It's probably gonna
how.
be a fourth, though.
Because you're interesting, bro. Because you do all kinds of really neat things. You've had adventurous experiences in Alaska. You're just an interesting guy to talk to. You're looking more jacked, I think, than the last time I saw you. Maybe.
Yeah, it's because I'm wearing a hoodie, so it helps. Actually, I haven't been lifting, honestly. I've been going maybe once or twice a week and just doing light full body, just keeping the mobility going.
Yeah, that's important.
You know?
That's what we talk about all the time.
Because you're busy now with the new stuff, dude, right?
Too busy.
And now you're doing, well, you've been doing it, the Mazda tuning.
Yeah.
How's that going?
Better than I expected at this point, Yeah, I mean, I was kind of forced to do it, we got jaywalkers and all the money's going back into jaywalkers. We're not doing that. So literally it's my only source of income right now is tuning. And yeah, I wasn't planning on being a tuner. It just kind of happened that way, Yeah, I mean, obviously I've been into cars since I was younger.
Yeah.
That started off when I was little playing, PlayStation, Gran Turismo.
Sure.
Way back then, and
yes.
As I'm a little poor kid. I don't get to ride in cars. I'm from a little small town. We don't see nice cars ever. And then went to the military, bought my own first car. My mom didn't buy me a car like a lot of kids nowadays. So bought my first car, and got an Audi. Trying to status. Got that, and
that's funny.
Yeah, it was way quicker than I thought. I actually went to the dealership to buy a G35. That was like the thing back then. The Infiniti G35, the coupe, nice single man car.
Yeah.
And when I got there, they was like, "Yeah, we just sold it that morning," and ended up getting a German out. I was at the dealership already, and I was like, well, I don't have a car, and I'm not gonna drive another hour, get a ride back here.
Yeah.
And it was like an hour and a half away, and I'm like, I'm already here. I'm gonna buy something.
Yeah.
Got the Audi, knew nothing about like Audis and stuff. And
what was it, like a
A4?
A4, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I didn't know anything about the car, and then I was like, well, I can try to make it as fast as the G35, and I slapped a air filter, did some maintenance stuff on it, and then I actually saw a G35 rolling by me. I'm in California, on the 5, and it's G35 with exhaust. I was like, I wonder how this car does against it, and the guy went for it, and I beat him, and I was like, oh man, I guess I made a good choice, whatever. But anyways, after that, the car scene's kind of big in California. After that, I was like, let me just, since I can't afford anything better than this, the interest rate was 25% when I went to buy it. I didn't know about credit.
Yeah.
So, I got what I could because I bought the car pretty much almost all cash. Like I went on a deployment right before that and got back and I was like, it's time to get a car. I wish I would have known about credit. Like that's like one of the most important things they do not teach in school. So, I went there and they applied for a loan for me and I was like, the interest was 25%. And I was like, holy crap. Well, I guess I can use my savings that I had from the deployment. So I put like $15,000 down, and then the rest I paid, and just solid. Had like a little $3,000 to $5,000 loan just so I could start building credit because I had no clue about credit back then. Anyway, so cars are a terrible investment, by the way. So get the car, start dumping money in it, and I eventually was just cruising one day, and just the motor blew up. So I rebuilt the whole car, and and I still didn't know a lot about cars back in that time, and I just saw I was in the military. I didn't have much time, so I was paying other guys to do the work on it, and got the motor rebuilt and everything, and started getting more into the car club stuff, all the forums, and it was just a nice little something to keep me busy while I was in the military. Get some friends outside of like the military friends.
Venture out.
Yeah, venture out and just see what go to all these car meets and stuff and see. Like, man, I'm still poor. Like, I'm making like $2,000. I'm making like $2,500 a month, and then I go to a car meet and like I got the base model Audi, like the cheapest version you can get, and then you got guys with their R8s and RS4s, all the higher end ones, and I'm like, man, I could never afford that. So I was like, all I could do is just throw more parts at it to make it just as fast to justify why I got the cheaper model, get better fuel economy. Yeah. But anyways, got out the military, and that I beat that car up, taking it to the drag strip, this and that. Eventually, when I moved back here, I couldn't register the car because I had removed all our emissions equipment.
Oh, jeez.
So I was like, man, I'm not gonna pass smog. So I was riding around with like expired tags for like 2 years almost.
Wow. Not one ticket?
I got pulled over 4 times, not a single ticket.
Wow.
Yeah. And the last time, it happened, it was like the car was smoking. And anyways, a couple days later, alternator went out. That car already had so many problems. I gave it to the junkyard for like $300. I put $15,000 worth of parts in it.
It seems like sometimes that's just the case. Like a car can't be saved.
Yeah,
you've seen it. I've seen it happen with people.
And then ended up right after that. I got a little Fiat 500, and I
remember the
little blue Fiat 500. One of the best cars I ever had. I wish I still have it to this day, but unfortunately, a 10-mile-an-hour crash just totaled the car. Truck was like didn't have a single scratch on it. But anyway, so Fiat 500 got totaled. Then ended up getting into this Mazda during COVID.
Yeah.
I think it was actually right before COVID hit. I got this Mazda. Like I was like, and it was like, I'm a value guy now. I'm not always trying to have like the nicest. I just want I'm a great value guy.
Yeah.
So I got this Mazda, and I was like, man, this is like high quality, look like my Audi interior, but like a fraction of the price. But the only thing that sucks being here in Colorado is the elevation. When you get these cars that are like, they don't have turbos on them and they're just a regular motor.
Thin air.
Yeah, dude, they struggle. And this car is a big car. So it was struggling to just get up the hills and stuff. So I was like, man, I got to do something. So I was like, man, reaching out, trying to find a tuner to like kind of give it a little bit of more up and go. Because I wasn't into racing anymore. I was like, I don't want no tickets, none of that. I ended up having...
You just wanted performance.
Yeah, I just wanted a practical car, just like my Fiat was. It was just, a little small. You couldn't really put much in it, especially with jaywalkers. Putting packages in there, it wasn't enough room. So ended up like the Mazda brand isn't like a super big brand. So I couldn't find anything for this car. Like
I remember you saying that. Yeah.
Tuning to get any kind of performance out of it. I ended up finding a guy in the Philippines that tuned, and I was like, he was the only, like there was him and like one guy in Canada that were like tuning it specifically for these types of vehicles. And I was like, man,
when was this? How long ago was this?
This was, I started to tune with him in, gotta say 2020. at the end of 2020.
Really? And there was nobody doing them.
Nobody doing them. So at the end of 2020, nobody was doing these types of vehicles. And I was like, man, I had to go reach out to a dude all the way in the Philippines to get a dang tune on this vehicle. So like at that point, it's like there's not a lot of, I'm starting to realize, man, there's not many people who tune this and there's not a lot of competition. So anyways, started talking to the guy. He, pretty much like I was asking him questions all the time because I didn't know nothing about the tuning process. I always wanted to know because I had the Audi tuned and everything, but and it's during COVID, so there's not much to do. So you're just like
online, just doing
online, and I'm just communicating with him. He's stuck at home, just tuning. So we just talk back and forth about stuff, and he was like slowly teaching me things here and there, and then
wow,
it got to the point I found out like he took over the company from his boss, who is actually from Colorado. Weird enough, this dude was in Colorado that started this company, left, moved to Costa Rica, gave the company to this guy in the Philippines. And there was just like I guess that the market was just small. I guess it's not a small market.
I wonder why that is. You would think there was plenty of people trying to get their Mazdas tuned.
Yeah, but it's hard to find it because the dude didn't have a website. There was no social media for it. So like if you're trying to find it, you have to get word of mouth, like going to these little forums trying to find how to contact this guy, like I did through email. Anyway, so I started telling people about this guy on the forums, and then a lot of people started going to him. He started getting business, and then there was like these newer cars that came out that nobody had touched, and he didn't want to touch them. And I was like, dude, like, you know how much money's in this? We can blah, 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 this and that. And he's like, I don't know, man. Like, we tried this before, and I don't want to mess with these turbo cars and this and that. So I was just like, let's just give it a try. You don't have to.
Can it go wrong? Can it go bad?
You can blow up motors easy. I had my first blow up like a month ago, like on the car. It wasn't my fault. But the first customer had blew up. Like I've tuned almost 400 customers now.
Oh damn!
And
jeez.
Yeah, in less than in a year, I've tuned like 400 customers. But
wow.
I've had my first car blow up, and you got to put all your waivers and stuff like that because a lot of people, they'll mess something up, like maybe not screwing apart, and then the car blows up, and the first thing they want to do is blame the tuner.
Yep.
So they want to have somebody
So
blame
something that they've done beforehand
or like afterwards or afterwards.
after.
So like I give them a tune, and then they decide I'm gonna go change this part, and then
So everybody signs waivers so that if that happens, like, sorry, bud.
yeah, pretty much. But
Damn.
but also it doesn't matter if they sign a waiver or not, because what matters is like what people think of you. Like, everybody's opinion matters. So if like they're going around telling other people like, don't go to this guy because he
blew my shit up.
Pretty much,
Yeah.
And
So
then,
how do you handle that? What do you?
dude, I made a YouTube video. YouTube has been saving me. Like YouTube is where I get the
That's
majority
what
of
you
my
were saying.
business.
Yeah.
So, but yeah. Anyways, this guy that was teaching me the stuff about tuning, his boss owns another company now.
Okay.
And he is not supposed to be tuning vehicles anymore because he's like a software developer. Like the guy from the Philippines, he still works for the boss. Mm-hmm. He's a software developer. So when you develop software, you're supposed to only distribute the software. You're not supposed to use it to have like customers. So say if I develop the software, I know how to use it, right? And I want to sell the software to you so you guys could get customers. If I'm using the software, why would people go to you when they can come straight to me, to get like the service done,
Yeah,
so
for sure.
there was like a conflict of interest. But anyways, I don't want to talk too much, but you know how it is when you're starting out, and like anyways, I took over the business kind of, and when you're starting out, I'm a nobody, just some brand new dude on the scene, and there's all these established tuners from all over the world. Like we don't have a lot of I'm the only U.S. tuner.
Wait, what?
Yeah, so I'm the only tuner for the United States for what I do, as far as like the Mazda platform that I do on from 2012 to 2024. I'm like the only one who like specializes in it, and there's like 2 in Canada, 1 in Poland. There's a guy in Malaysia.
That's crazy.
So there's maybe like 10 to 12 specialists in the entire world that work on these vehicles. So yeah, it is a very small. It's not. I wouldn't say it's a small community, but there's not a lot of people who are willing to try to mess with the software.
Isn't that crazy, Pierce? When you think about it,
Yeah,
$8.1 billion people in the world, and there's
Only
12.
12 people.
There's 12 that
Yeah,
do it.
they do it.
And
Yeah.
there's millions of these vehicles on the road.
Yeah.
And there's only 12 people that do it. But I was the newest guy on the scene, so you got these guys out there that have been doing it a while, and they start hearing about me, and first thing they want to do is start trash talking. And I almost went back and like put screenshots out there because I got social media now. Facebook, Instagram, YouTube. At one point it got to the point where I felt like I needed to defend myself and like show screenshots from conversations to like show people who they really were, but it wasn't worth it to me. But yeah, so I just really, I don't know. I don't even know where you want to go with this conversation.
I'm fascinated by it because I'm not a car guy. I was like never written my dad wasn't really around. I didn't learn a lot about cars. Ironically, he did know a lot about cars, but so I didn't really know. And honestly, I remember the first time you mentioned it, just being confused. Like I didn't understand because what I didn't know was when I grew up, like my uncles and my dad and those guys, they would tune cars. I knew about that. I knew that was a thing, but it was all done with wrenches and like, you know what I mean?
They were like, now it's all software.
Yeah.
That's what I mean. And that's what I was talking to my son about because he's really interested and kind of wants to get into it.
You lose your hair. I'm telling you. Is
it complicated?
It is very complicated. It's a lot of numbers. My eyes are going bad, staring at the computer, trying to do calculations. I'm like, dang, I wish I would have paid more attention in calculus, and algebra. But no, it's not as bad as you think. I'm a trial and error guy. I'll just keep trying things until something works, But I tried on my car first before.
How did the blow up thing happen? Like what?
The guy was driving around. So we have like a how-to guide on if you're gonna he put a supercharger on his car like that's on mine, and there's like a how-to guide what you should do if you're gonna put a supercharger on it. Like you have to put like modifications that'll help cool the car down because you're adding extra power to it, this and that. Some people they take shortcuts
and they just want what they want.
Yeah, that was just like this is all I can afford. I just want to put the supercharger on there. I don't care about the other modifications
like, hey,
needed.
Man, it might not be the
best. You're telling them like, hey, you're not supposed to run your car on the track without having an oil cooler on it. And the guy went to the mountains driving uphill for like 2.5, 3 hours.
Oh God.
Just driving 120 mile an hour plus, and then car just finally overheated and threw a rod, blew up the motor.
So it doesn't happen when you're doing it. It's usually before. I mean, it's after, I guess.
Oh yeah, like I don't.
It's not like you're tuning a car and it can blow up. That's not.
It hasn't happened yet. I mean, it can happen. Yeah.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Holy shit!
If you make if I put the wrong number in, I hit a 8 instead of a 3.
Come on,
and blow a whole car up. Just so you have to like before you download it to the car, like flash the software, you gotta triple check. Like you see how bad I text. Like I gotta use the edit. I gotta use the edit thing every day.
He does use edit, yeah.
So you gotta imagine like I suck at texting. I have to keep editing all my texts, and I'm like, man, if I do this on the car, that's it. That's my whole reputation.
You're just extra careful.
Yeah, so I have to go.
You're a triple checker.
Triple check it.
You do it on a laptop?
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay.
All of it on a laptop.
You know who I knew there was a triple checker that was very good at his job, but very slow at his job. Mr. Tony Dollar.
Hey, that's okay. Do it right the first time. You don't have to go back.
Yeah.
We always did that because like in our office, like Jared would be blowing through things, and like
everybody.
Jesse was blowing through like all their packaging, and then Tony's like, I don't know how they're doing it so fast. It's like
yeah, but my error rate was incredibly low.
Yeah, it's quality matters, man. That's what matters to me most when you start a company is just giving quality attention.
Well, that's it. So I was looking at your comments in that video for the blown motor, and everyone, some of the comments in there was like, it was like what they were saying about you, saying that you were taking the time to explain everything, and everyone on the comments is like really appreciating.
Yeah, I mean, there's no information out there, so. When I decided to go in on this business by myself because the other guy couldn't do it because of conflict of interest, I just realized it's an untapped market. There's no when I was looking on YouTube to find information on the car or anything, there was none. There's no information on these types of vehicles, and there's no support for it. So I figured, I might as well be that guy.
That's the perfect start to a business, right?
Yeah.
You see this opportunity,
and you seize it, and then I could probably charge a lot more than I am right now, but. When you start a business, you want to give people good prices, and then slowly, increase it.
Well, and then they come back, right? Then
Oh, yeah.
You have
You
people
get a
that
lot of
come back and
referrals.
referrals, yeah.
Yeah, so I
and
mean,
so his YouTube is the Super Mazda 3.
Yeah, I'm on there right now.
Yeah.
That's exactly.
and
what I'm
it
looking
is
at.
a very low quality, but I'm already to the point where YouTube gave me I can monopolize the money or the
Monetize.
monetize it. I can already monetize it. So because I think you need 4,000 watch hours and then you can monetize it. So when I got back from Alaska, I was like, okay, I'm just gonna post every Monday.
And how did you
Yeah.
get followers? Where did they originally come from? Just literally
like he
YouTube?
was.
Just
Like he was, yeah.
Yeah, so look, I was looking on YouTube for stuff for this car. I couldn't find anything. So people just search, like you can go on my
Yeah, you
analytics,
just-
and then
okay.
they just go and search, like they search like Mazda supercharger or Mazda tuning, and I put those hashtags
bro.
in the video, and then my stuff pops up. So most of my stuff is just from people using a search bar. It said like 63% is from the search bar. Just people looking it up because there's no, like you can just go to YouTube and not type in my Super Mazda 3 and just type in like Mazda tuning or something, and like you'll see one of my videos will pop up because there's no one else doing it.
Sure as shit. Yep, there it is. Wow.
Yeah, and like I said, I'm not really making that much from YouTube, like as far as for ads and stuff, but I
Just
get
making a little bit from the tuning.
every time I post a video, I'll get at least 15 to 20 customers from one video.
Yeah.
See,
every Monday.
well then so in addition to like literal monetizing, you're getting money from it.
Yeah,
in the long run.
exactly. I'm like self-advertising on there by providing people with free information.
Yeah, so cool, bro. And I remember last time that's what we didn't talk about it a whole lot, but that's what you were saying is that's the direction you're really headed.
Yeah, just because with the economy right now, like I'm still trying to buy a house, right?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And
The rates,
I know. Bro.
It's not even a rates, it's just being able to qualify for a house because every house in Parker, you're not gonna get anything under 600,000.
No.
In Parker, right? And so you go around the neighborhood. When I was looking for houses, like the guy came out next door. He's like, "Oh, you looking at buying this house?" He was like, "You want to know what my mortgage is?" And they tell you, and you're like, "Man, so I have to pay almost triple what you're paying right now."
It's ridiculous. Like
just to be your neighbor.
Yeah.
So it's like, it doesn't. It sucks because I'm like forced to. I don't want to tune all day and all that, but I'm kind of forced to make this kind of money to even qualify for a home to a person who makes a third of the third of what I'm making right now.
Because of the timing.
Because just getting in at the right time, so they can own that home making $5,000 a month. For me to own that home, I got to make $12,000 or more. Right next door to them.
Yeah.
Just buying today versus when
crazy.
they got
Same house.
So you'll be the balling guy in the neighborhood, that's for sure.
No, I'll be just as
You won't be balling because you're paying
I'll
triple
pay-
the mortgage.
I'll have to work 3 times as hard to afford the same home.
I know. You're just stuck in every way. That does suck.
It does. It's nothing you can really do about it.
So what do you see in the future? I mean, I feel like we touched on like the possibility of you having other guys working for you too.
Yeah, that is possible right now. I mean, I have a lot of guys reaching out to me for like they want to do my website stuff and this and that because I was gonna launch a website, but I decided not to because I was having trouble keeping up with the amount of customers I was getting. So right now, I'm at the point where I can launch my website again, but I'm also trying to decide if it's even worth it because I don't really necessarily need more than I'm making right now. Like,
and social media is doing just fine.
Yeah, and I'm getting enough traffic, and I don't want to deal with more customer service because I already deal with that with jaywalkers where people want refunds, like they order the wrong thing, and people don't read. Like I have customers from all over the world. U.S. accounts for maybe 50% of my customer base, and then I have people in Saudi Arabia, Australia, Brazil, like all over the world. Even like Iraq, like just people all over.
Yeah.
Countries I never even heard of. I'm like, where is that at? Gotta go look it up on the map.
Yeah. Wow, it's crazy what you can do this day and age.
And I have to do stuff outside of the U.S. because of our regulations that are happening right now. So that's the one thing about this business. I don't know how long I'll have it, so I'm trying to make as much as I can now.
Yeah.
Because like California, they have so many regulations as far as like you can't
EPA and all that
EPA
stuff.
You can't touch anything on the car. You won't pass emissions. So for me, I like having international customers because their laws over there don't apply to me.
Yeah.
So they can't.
That's interesting.
They can't do anything. So
Would it
like,
apply to them? Could they get in trouble for it? Probably.
They could, but I'm not in their country, so it won't really matter so much. And then, so I like international customers when it comes to that type of stuff, but it sucks dealing with the communication barrier, because a lot of people, most of us speak English.
Probably not only the communication barrier, right, but also maybe time. The different times.
Oh yeah, people are like, I took like a guy today was just like when I was in the car. He was like, "Hey man, you say you're gonna see my tune on Friday." I'm like, "It's still Friday here." He's like, "Oh okay, yeah, because over there they're a day ahead."
Yeah,
so
like it's fucking Saturday, dude.
Yeah, it's like Saturday afternoon. I'm like, "Oh,
Damn, that's
sorry."
so crazy.
But yeah, it's definitely more worth my time for it because after I get the database set up, which takes. It took me like 300 plus hours to set up this database.
Yeah.
But now that the database is set up, anytime I see like a certain model of car, I can go to my database, copy, paste, send it out.
So it just gets better over time.
So yeah, as it gets faster, like when I first started to do one vehicle would take 2 to 3 hours. Now with the database I have, it's literally a copy and paste. Email a customer back.
Yeah.
Fast too.
Yeah,
So it becomes easy money.
Yeah, so like I charge on average about $250 per service. So at on a good day I can make about $2,500 a day. On a good day. Bad day, I'll make $400 something like that. So like today I think today was probably the only day I didn't. I made $250 today. That's probably one of my lower days. Like this last 2 weeks because I haven't been. Replying to emails because I was doing the grand opening, so I had to auto reply. I'm starting to get back to everyone right now.
How was that? Pierce said it was awesome.
It was great, but it's like, it's not going to stay like that every day. People shop online, and so it's one of those things where this new business I have is great because I don't have overhead. Like now with the Jaywalker business, you got the storefront overhead, you got the employee overhead, and physically having to be there. So now.
What was the push to have a physical store?
I don't totally understand the physical, just to try something different to see because our sales have been declining. Like after 2021, they started declining a little bit. Like 2020 and 2021, sales were crazy. After that, it kind of declined. So he just wanted to try to switch it up. My business partner wanted to switch it up to see if it could help out. Because like there's not a place for people to do in-store exchange, and we get a lot of people buy the pants and it's the wrong size, and we pay for shipping, so we give free return shipping and everything like that. And then over time, if you get 10 customers a week, 20 customers a week returning packages at $15 a package, that starts to add up,
Yeah.
And at that point, that's enough to afford an employee to work at a store,
Sure.
So. Yeah, that was. I'm not 100% sure on how the store is going to do, but having a storefront, if we decide like, okay, let's just close the business, we can do a big sale if we want to, and just sell it all,
Be
$5.
Yeah.
Do everything, because at that point, like, even though the product physically costs us more, everything is profit. So because people don't look at the big picture, we put maybe $15,000 to $20,000 of our own money into it, grew it, right. And then, like, yes, we bought product for X amount of money. And even if we sell it for less than what we paid for the actual product, it's all still profit. Yeah. Because there's still more than $15,000 to $20,000 in product.
Yeah.
So people don't look at it like that. They're like, oh, we can't sell it for less than what we bought it for. But it was like, at the same time, it was like, it all started from that $15,000. Anything you made off of it,
think
still
about that.
profit.
Yeah. Yep.
Just like the stock market, people lose money in there, but then you got to remember how much did you actually put in it initially.
Yeah.
Yeah,
no, it was cool. The shred BMX there. That was
dope.
It
was. Max did a lot with that, getting all that set up. But sometimes all that stuff doesn't translate to sales.
Yeah.
You got to know your market. And right now there's a shift in what people are wearing. People want more baggy, relaxed stuff, which I personally like myself. I don't really like the tight fitting stuff anymore, especially since I'm getting older now. Like I just want to be comfortable. You know?
Of course. Yeah.
I'm wearing the joggers, but other than that, I like looser fitting clothes,
Yeah.
So, and that's what everyone's going to. They're going to the oversized t-shirts and this and that, because it makes it more inclusive for everyone. So if like you're a little guy, you just wear a big shirt, nobody knows you're little or big.
That's true. Yeah.
Yeah, that's interesting that's happening because I feel like it's been like that for a while recently, right? Like with the guys and skinny jeans and this whole thing.
Yeah.
When did skinny jeans start?
No idea.
Soldier Boy, maybe. That era.
I wonder if they actually are going out of style.
Nah, I think they are.
Damn,
More people,
in the 50s originally. That's weird.
Yeah,
but nobody's
like
really
greasers
wearing them
and
like
stuff
that. Yeah. But yeah, it's just not a thing, and it's just always shifting. So you have to change with the times,
Yeah. Oh, here we go. It has its own Wikipedia page. Slim fit pants.
Mm-hmm.
Unbelievably.
That's what we call it.
Yeah. So 2000s is really the most recent one,
Mm-hmm.
and then 10s and 20s. They've got It's just weird to me because I like that. I'm a baggy guy, but sometimes I feel like I look really old. Like even the teachers that that I work with and stuff like that. When I'm walking around, I'm just wearing like the regular fit blue jeans or something like that. You stand out now. And I remember one guy at work was like, "Yeah, it was jean day because it was Genius Day. They were taking tests and stuff like that."
Okay.
And so he wore his blue jeans, and they were like, to me, they were skinny jeans. And he was like, "Yeah, I wore my baggy ones today because I didn't want to. I didn't want to act like I was being too fashionable or whatever." I'm like, "The hell?"
Yeah, they don't.
When
fit
I was
me
growing,
the
because
same.
we grew up with Jankos and
I didn't wear those.
no, I didn't wear them either.
It's like-
But you know what I mean? Like all jeans were loose fit.
Yeah.
Everything
Yeah.
was loose fit from top to bottom. They didn't have that whole like
Taper.
the taper, and they're
Yeah.
tight around your ankles. And
Which I don't prefer because it looks weird with boots. I like to be able to have stuff go
Sure.
over the,
oh yeah,
So-
sure. That's an interesting thing I always think about with cowboy boots. The way they got all the design up on the side and stuff, but you don't ever see them.
No.
Can't wear shorts
Yeah.
with cowboy boots. Though I
mean, you
have
can.
in private.
You can, yeah. You can.
I'm not doing that in front of people or whatever. Yeah, so that's really cool, man. Is that really just where you want to put all your energy moving forward?
I mean, that's not the end goal. It's income,
Yeah.
And
Remember, he
it's-
says he likes to move from one
it's
thing to
it's,
another.
it's,
Yeah.
it's just it's another gateway into something else. Like I'm meeting a lot of people from all over the world that I never thought I would meet, and like, I'm making friends with all these people, and it's like, man, they're all like, yeah, anytime you need somewhere to stay, if you want to travel, you got a place here with me.
That's cool.
So yeah, like I'm making friends like all over the world with this, and I don't know where it's the end. I don't see like I'm not a car person like I used to be anymore. Like I'm a practical person. Like a car gets you A to B. I don't need a Corvette. I don't need a Ferrari.
flash, anything
It
like that,
doesn't. The purpose of the vehicle is to get you to A to B reliably. And for me, I'd rather drive a new Prius. Those new Priuses.
Oh, dude.
Man, 50 something miles a gallon, something that's gonna save me money.
Did you see?
I'll
Have you
take
seen
that.
the ones that are like blacked out and like?
Oh
they
yeah,
have,
I've seen a
the-
couple of them,
oh,
but
my
yeah,
God.
I would drive a Prius right now. It does not affect. I don't have a ego to where I need to have a certain type of car for my personality. It's more just what it does for me. Like
Yeah.
like everything for what I do now is like, how does it benefit me?
Right.
You
You seem like a really practical guy.
Yeah, I mean, I could
think-
see if I was in real estate, like having like a BMW or a Ferrari or something
Right,
like
it's
that.
part of the
I mean,
deal.
Well, because then you're like, oh, they're successful, they're good at what they do,
Right,
But for
right.
me, I don't need to show people. Like, I'm not trying to get that type of clientele. Like, people come to me for my mind, and like, yes, it does help when I have like nice vehicles. You're like, yeah, he's probably successful and he's good at what he does, But
Yeah, depending on what you do, I guess.
yeah, but it's for me. I don't need to have a.
Have you traveled much? Do you want to travel?
Yeah, I've traveled. I was in the military, man. I
Remember?
traveled.
Oh, of course, of
yeah,
course, yeah.
Thailand, Hong Kong. Just
Where have
I've
you
been-
not been that you want to go?
I still didn't go to France yet. I mean, I don't like cigarette smoke. Like I got a taste of that when I was in
I
Montreal.
heard, yeah.
Because I was in Canada. I was
Dude,
like, Montreal
Europe,
is
yeah.
like a little mini France, and it's just cigarette. I'm scarred. I hate cigarettes. My mom smoked cigarettes all growing up, and like in the car with me. So like, big no. I couldn't breathe for the longest
Did
time.
we talk about this last time? Yeah, same. I
Yeah, I hate them. So
Well, that's what it is like in Europe. And like when we went to Greece, I told that to Dollar. I was like, everywhere.
Just everywhere. Just cigarette
Everybody
butts on the-
smokes.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Everybody smokes everywhere. In China. Everyone in China fucking smokes.
Yeah, they do.
The hotel was like no smoking. Like we're in our room. I was like, I can fucking smoke.
smell
People were
smoke.
definitely smoking
Everyone
inside.
smokes over there. Yeah, I would like to go to France. Maybe I still wanted to go to Israel, but with all the stuff going on right now,
Oh, yeah, no, yeah.
that's kind of off limits. I still want to
course.
check that out.
I'm the same. Yeah, I
Maybe.
would like to see it too, but
Just to look
Always.
at it, check it out. I've been in the Red Sea already, but in Jordan. But
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'd rather. I want to go to Israel.
where's your
eventually.
favorite place that you've been?
Man. Yeah. I would say Thailand.
I've always wanted to be there. Yeah.
Thailand.
Why is that? Yeah, it seems awesome.
It's just a lot. There's just a lot going on at all times, man. You know, everybody's rolling around. I don't know what it looks like now, but when I went, it was like 2011. Got all these people on their little moped scooters just flying around everywhere. Little kids trying to get you to pay them to be a tour guide and this and that. People pulling you over to the side to get you fitted for a suit. You can get a full custom suit for like $60. You know, so
Damn, bro.
I mean, Thailand was pretty, like our money goes far there. So
Yeah.
you know, it was interesting being there. I didn't stay there long enough. I was there 3 days. Wish it could have been a little bit longer. But I don't know. There's a lot of places I still want. I want to go everywhere.
Yeah.
I mean, I technically would love to just be on all 7 continents, check them all out.
Yeah.
South America's on my list. I definitely want to go like somewhere in the Amazonian, go to Brazil,
Yeah.
something like that.
That would be so cool.
No
Have you
lie.
been-
No lie. Today, Callie, my daughter, she goes, and I can't even make this up, dude. She goes, you guys we always go on like crazy exotic vacations. Like, can we just go somewhere normal? She's like, can we go to like Idaho? And I was like, what? I was like, what? She was like, yeah, we've been to Greece and China and Mexico. She goes, in Hawaii. You know, she goes, can we just go somewhere like where other normal people go, like Idaho? She goes, where's Omaha? I was all, oh my God, you really want to go to those places? I was like,
what is there?
That's what I said. She goes, I don't know. She goes, I just maybe want to go in a normal place. I was like,
Interesting.
The only place in
Okay.
the U.S. I still would like to check out, I just want to go check out Yellowstone. That's on my
sure.
to-do
oh,
list.
it's beautiful.
I still haven't
Yeah.
gone to Yellowstone, so
Yeah,
that's
When we
on
were
my to-do list.
when we were kids, we used to go to
Yeah,
Yellowstone
so I was
a lot.
talking to the guys that are in our the RV lot that's right next to us.
Uh-huh.
So I'm like, hey, let's take one of these up to Yellowstone, man. So hopefully I get that trip done here in the U.S. Other than that, I don't really in the U.S. I don't really see there.
My U.S.
in another-
trip that I want to go to, I want to go see the redwoods. I've never seen them. I want to go up to Northern
Northern California.
Northern California, and
Cal.
check
Yeah.
out the sequoias and the redwoods and all
Yeah.
that stuff. Yeah,
Oh, bro. Yeah.
I want to drive through a tree.
Yeah, you can do that.
Yeah,
They literally have that. You can drive through a tree. It's beautiful. It's unbelievable when you see them in person. If you have you ever seen big trees of any sort? Those are probably the biggest. I
yeah.
imagine.
I mean,
And they're so old, dude. They get so old. Sequoias are neat, and I've been by them a few times, but I lived forever in Humboldt. I mean, I was there for like 8 years.
yeah.
And just, it's unbelievable walking through those forests. You feel like you're in some movie, like there's elves or something. You know what I mean?
Sasquatch
Ferns
running
growing
around.
everywhere. yeah, no doubt. And it rains a ton there. But yeah, that's cool. I didn't know that was like a top place on your list.
In the United States at least. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Any other place in the U.S. you want to see? I want to see New Orleans. I've never. That face.
Yeah. Once you see it once, it's
Yeah.
like, eh.
And yeah, it's never
Really?
it hasn't
Yeah.
been the same since
I love music,
the
that's
hurricane, and
Yeah.
it's different. I just don't want to ever live in Louisiana again.
I went there.
Really?
You guys remember that's where you grew up.
Yeah.
No, I know.
We went to. That's why I went with Ontario to New Orleans one year, and I remember going. We went to Bourbon Street, and it was a Wednesday night, and I was like, Bourbon Street was popping, dude. It's a Wednesday. It was like, I want to say it was like, what was it? It was like November on a Wednesday night, and just popping. The streets were full. Everyone's drunk and just like. It's just like you're like, this is fucking Wednesday. This is
Yeah. It's
Jesus.
just the economy in Louisiana is not the greatest. There's nothing there unless
Oh
you
no, and we went to like the areas like because we went sightseeing and all that stuff. And yeah, dude, there's still
from the hurricane, it's
from
still
the
messed
hurricanes,
up.
everything
Like
is
Lake
like
Charles is still haven't been
Yeah.
rebuilt.
Yep.
You know, I went to
There-
Waffle House there, and I was like, "What the heck? Why is there still
down there is that giant ass hotel that's over there in by Bourbon Street, and it's still abandoned.
Yeah.
because it's still like there's still issues with it, like safety stuff, and they can't take it down and whatnot, and so.
Yeah,
Wow.
I don't want any kind of real estate by water. I think that's why everyone's moving here to Colorado. Low key, they're all like, see, I'm saying that word low key, younger generation, but they're all moving to Colorado because in the case of the end of the world, like we're at like a higher elevation, the world starts flooding. They're like, hey, we're in Colorado. It'll take a while before it gets to us. We got another year or two. You know, things start going crazy.
No, that's what I was saying.
California breaks off.
That's how I like Colorado because like I'm like if we ever there's any like ever nuclear war, like we have NORAD up here. Like we're gonna be like warned first and protected, and everything like that.
Yeah, I think a lot of people think about that is like because you look at Florida and there's places there you're like, man, how long is this land gonna be here?
Dude,
You guys
sinkholes
live-
like crazy. Like they're on what, lime is what they're mostly on, with limestone, stuff like that. So it's all porous, and yeah, I still remember that story of that dude that they were trying to search for forever. Remember, he was in his room in his bed, and the sinkhole took the house.
Oh, I saw.
Holy
that one.
shit! What?
What dollar? You didn't, dude? This is like big on the news. Like,
This is a while back.
yeah, this is a while back, but it was like big on the news. This guy like
In his bedroom.
the sinkhole happened under his fucking bed, and he just got swallowed up. And they tried to search for him for days. It was just.
I'm trying to remember what state that was in.
I think it was Florida.
I don't think so.
No?
No, I
It
don't.
was Florida.
I thought it was maybe in like California somewhere. It was random, but they had a sinkhole and he just got sucked in. So-
Sleeping in his bed, bro.
Mm-hmm.
Damn, that's crazy. Yeah, it was definitely on this. Holy shit! Oh, that's crazy, bro. It was near Tampa.
Oh, it was in
Yeah.
Florida.
Yeah.
Oh,
Holy crap, that's wild.
Yeah.
Damn, when was that?
Had to been at least 2 or 3 years ago.
Oh, it
No,
says
2013.
9. Yeah, I was gonna say 9 years ago.
Yeah.
It
Oh,
says.
that long ago.
Yeah.
Damn. Yeah, that's
Bro.
crazy. So you never want to be back in Louisiana. Why is that? I've been there once in my life. I was this whole time I've been looking at a map trying to figure out some small town that we went to. But I just remember what I couldn't deal with was the humidity.
Yeah. So I
heat,
don't.
bro.
I hate mosquitoes.
Yeah, oh,
Number
dude.
one.
Oh, they were giant.
Yeah, and you just imagine you buy a house there for like $50,000 and you got 5 acres of land, but every time you
Just
sit out in
mosquitoes.
your backyard just to relax,
Gonna
just
get eaten up.
I
Man,
get it.
you know?
Oh, that makes sense.
so yeah, that and this. There's just the economy's not the greatest. People don't leave; they stay there their whole life.
Yeah.
And not some people leave. I left, but it's just there's no advancement. It's stagnant.
Yeah.
I go back there and I'm looking at like, man, this building is the same as when I left it 20 years ago.
No change. Yeah.
It's like,
Yeah.
holy.
Left behind a little bit.
So, yeah, it's just like a forgotten state that nobody wants to build up. You only go there if you want to work offshore.
Oh yeah. Yep.
Good money there, though, huh? Probably. So it's dangerous, though, yeah?
Yeah, working off on
Hell yeah.
the golf.
Yeah.
I was looking up, Mike, the most traveled to places in the world, or like the most popular places to visit. What do you think number one is?
The most popular place in the world.
In the world or in the U.S.?
World.
World.
Most popular place in the world to visit. I mean, I can name maybe 5 that I would think would be.
Yeah,
France has to be one of
I was
them.
like, can you
Everyone
give us?
wants
Are
to
you
be.
gonna give us like a 3? We can choose 3 and see if we guess.
Paris, France has to be on
okay,
the top
I'm
5.
gonna say Italy.
Italy, yep. I would say Italy.
Italy, France,
Mm-hmm.
and I want to say Hawaii.
Australia. Maybe.
He's gonna go Australia. I'm gonna go with Hawaii.
Hawaii is, yeah.
Italy,
Everyone-
France, Hawaii. He says Italy, France, Australia.
Well, yeah, if we're talking, U.S., Hawaii would be like,
Yeah.
everyone wants to go there at least once.
Number one is France.
See,
Okay.
we got that.
Number 2 is Spain.
Okay.
Uh,
3 is the United States.
Just
yeah.
in general?
Uh-huh.
yeah, most people from other countries, they want to come and
that's
visit
true,
the
yeah.
U.S.
It's been, interesting. A lot of these have gone up since COVID. Up 130% since COVID is the United States. Wow. Then number 4 is Turkey. 5 is Italy. 6 is Mexico, which you've talked about a lot.
Turkey. They must be going for a hair transplant. That's where everyone's going.
UK and Germany's number 8. I could
Wow.
look up more if we want.
Turkey is also the premier. Me and Dollar looked this up. The premier place for heightening
Oh, yeah, they do
for
that.
the
with
lengthening.
the
Yeah.
shins.
Yep.
They hit it.
That is the premier place.
yeah.
To do it.
So that people are going there to get taller and get their hair back.
Damn. I wonder why Turkey. Why do you think it is Turkey?
I don't know what the requirements are to be a doctor there, but it probably isn't
Probably
the same
lower
standard.
than yeah.
I wonder how many people get jacked from it. Did we? I feel like we might have
We
looked
looked,
that
yeah,
up.
we
I
last
mean, because
time.
there's people that are doctors in other countries. I'm like, you're a doctor? Like, what's the schooling like for that? And it's not the
Yeah.
same requirements. Europe is very strict, but like there are definitely places that.
Yeah. Like Bahamas, Mexico, stuff like that. You doctor easy.
Oh yeah, we definitely looked this up. There's all kinds of shit. It goes wrong all the time.
Yeah.
All the time.
Infections, bone infections.
It just seems like such a weird thing to do
Blood
to your body.
infections.
You know what I mean? It's more
Yeah.
complicated than fixing something that's broken. You're like, doing
And
this.
we were saying that it's anywhere from like 150,000 to 200 something.
Man,
plus
you're always gonna
thousand.
look. a little awkward because I can tell. I look at people's proportions and stuff.
Yeah.
Like I judge people based on how they walk and stuff. Like I can tell a lot about people's posture.
Yeah.
Like what they do for work and everything. But it's like when you look at someone just with really long legs and short, like shorter arms, you're like, man, this is not right.
Just like the girls with the fake butts, right? You know something. Somebody doesn't work out at all.
You can tell when the legs don't support the butt. Like there's just a distribution of
Yeah.
how
Weird.
it supports it.
Something looks weird.
Yeah.
Rubs me the wrong way.
Like on stilts. It's
Yeah,
like,
yeah, exactly. Because it's just like
right.
toot, and then it's like whoop.
Yeah.
You're like, what?
It's not even worth it. I mean,
Yeah, we've talked a lot about that, about how people do the craziest things
just for attention.
Yeah, and so much of it's based on physical appearance because of social media.
But
right?
also, like the physical appearance, like to me, the way I look at it is different from a lot of people. Like,
healthy.
yes, I can look at, like when I look at an attractive woman, it's more like she cares about herself.
Yeah.
It's not necessarily the size of her or whatever, but when you see like someone in the gym and they work out and stuff, you're like, wow, they actually care about their health. It's not the way the actual, like, the shape is nice, but it's not. It's not all about like the shape of the woman. It's more like she cares about herself.
Right,
especially as a guy, if you're going to be with someone long term, you want someone who cares about themselves, because at the end of the day, if they start having health complications, they're your responsibility.
Yeah.
So
makes sense. There's something instinctive about
it's
it.
instinctive. Yeah. It's like, like the whole fat shame and stuff is like, no, it's an actual health risk. You've been 300 pounds at 4'9". Like that's not good.
I haven't heard any of that in a while. Remember those stories that were coming out where people were saying that they were claiming there was science to back up the fact that you're like less likely to get cancer, and that somehow you're protected from certain diseases.
Yeah. And then there's also people that look healthy that are not healthy.
Oh, yeah.
So there's
that's true too.
There's a line.
Because health is more complicated than we like to think.
Yeah, I mean, everyone's fake nowadays.
One, think about how complicated the human body is.
Yeah.
All the different parts and different systems. And then we think about, especially here in America, all the food. Like we see those the label comparisons all the time.
Processed food. Yeah, you go to other countries, they don't use red dye number 40. They don't use a lot of things we use here in the U.S. And the food tastes different there. McDonald's here doesn't taste the same.
I wonder why we have so little protections against that
money,
stuff from
dollars.
corporate. No, that's what I'm saying. I know, but other countries have people wanting to make money too, but they put things in place to stop that from happening.
Yeah, but where is most of the money gained in our healthcare system, right?
Yeah,
insurance.
Sure. Yeah.
So you gotta remember, I know it sucks to think about it like that, but like
they benefited from
more
it too.
sick people there are, the more money the government's gonna make. And
we've talked about this
because they're all feeding each other.
Yeah, because like old school Eastern philosophy and stuff like that, like it was all about lifestyle and like avoiding things, setting yourself up.
Well, that's
for
why they fast and they do, like technically, I guess it's part of Muslim religion.
Yeah, Ramadan. Yeah.
To do Ramadan.
Yeah.
But I think isn't more than a religion. It's the lifestyle. Like the religion is the life. That's part of your lifestyle. You're fasting, which will reset your body. A lot of people don't know that. When you fast, you go through like apoptosis and stuff like that.
Yep.
And your body, like the cells that are damaged, it flushes them out. So you'll have cells that are like kind of damaged. And then they'll finish like dying off, and you'll flush them out.
Yeah,
So
I've done that before. Like,
it's very good for you to fast.
I've done. Remember that one time I did that 5-day fast because they said more than 4 is like the best. Like, but you don't want to go like a week on.
And I heard most people who do that usually only do it a couple to 3 times at the most. I think a year.
Yeah.
Or you can just do it daily. Just do like a 16-hour fast, like a lot of people do. And
absolutely.
But it's good for you to do that. So
yeah.
And
well, that's what I normally do too.
A ton of science.
I eat dinner at 6:30.
I just don't eat.
And then I don't eat. And then I don't eat until, and then I don't usually eat until like 10, 11 o'clock in the morning. So
yeah, so I'm intentionally being healthy, unintentionally being healthy. Yeah, fasting.
No, so earlier to circle back about the cars, how you saying you were practical, not buying like.
I don't need it. I'm different now. It's like I don't want a car to impress people.
Well, I was the same way because like with my Jeep, like you go to the dealership, right, and you're just like. You see the Rubicon that's lifted, and it's the 37-inch tires, and and you're like, damn, how much is that? And it's like, that's gonna be $70,000. Like what?
$70,000 and get half the gas mileage.
Yeah, you're like,
the big tires.
how much is the base model? And it's like, oh, the base model is like 35. You're like, what? Yeah, you keep on adding things to it, and so I was the same way. I was like, I'm just going to buy a base model, and I will do
what you want
everything.
to it. Yeah, you don't need all the extras.
Yeah, I will do everything that I want. Yeah. But that's the other thing too with Jeeps, right? Because they're so customizable that's what this stands for.
And that's not what they have. Yep.
Jeep stands for just empty every pocket. That's what Jeep is. Because you just buy parts.
That's a huge community, the Jeep community. Something I could not get in because there's
oversaturated.
It's oversaturated.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
Interesting. Yeah. When did you get into Jeeps, by the way? When did you get your first Jeep?
Jones. When I was at Jones.
Did I know you before you got into Jeeps? Because it's like part of your identity, I feel like now.
Yeah. Well, yeah. When you started working at Jones is when
that's
I had
when you
Jeep.
First got it?
Yeah. That two-door Jeep, the blue one.
Wait. Yours has yellow on it now, or is there somebody else?
The Minion.
Oh,
yeah,
gotcha.
I had the Minion, yeah.
Gotcha, I remember.
And so, but yeah, before that, I had a two-door Jeep, and then I had another Jeep before that too.
Yeah,
so,
your loyalty's there. Just like I'm stuck with Mazda now. I'm on my second one. I'll probably get another one after that, just because it's just part of the job now.
Yeah.
So I don't. I wouldn't say. I'm like passionate, but it's not more. I just like to learn things because I'm still learning this whole tuning thing. I'm just literally learning as I go, just trial and error.
Yeah, it did come up last time. You just like to, you kind of keep moving all the time.
I don't feel like this is the end goal because we're all going electric eventually. So the laws are going to start cracking down. Yep. So I'm like trying to plan for it. I'm like, I got to try to capitalize the next.
How long do you think
years
before we're
fully electric?
A lot of car companies are saying
they only do hybrids now. Like I know they've just put in a law, like in Europe, like you can only sell hybrids or full electric.
Full electric.
Yeah.
Okay.
So eventually it's coming.
Wow.
Here.
Well, a lot of those companies have initiatives now, right? Mm-hmm. So a lot of them are saying we're going full electric by 2035 or 2038.
Yeah, that's when
like
California is supposed to be all no more gas vehicles. So
well, like Ford, I think has pushed it. They are saying like 2038 or something like that. They'll be.
So once that happens, I'm going to be out of a job once it's fully electric because, that's going to come down to the software hackers. They're going to be able to make all the money now because they can just
hack the systems and change.
Versus learning about chemical compounds like I am, learning different fuels and how they work.
The compression ratios, stuff like that,
Oh, that's fascinating, actually. Yeah. Do you find it fascinating? Or not so much?
I do and I don't. Like, once you turn your passion into a job, it's taxing.
Is that that's at the core of why you like to keep moving? Because you get interested, it's fun, you're learning, you're having a good time. Eventually, it starts making you money.
Once you learn everything, so like it starts to make. I'm at the point where now it's making me money. I've already got pretty much like each of the little platforms, different cars. I've already got them like. Not perfected, but as close as I can get it.
Yeah.
To being as best. It's the best I can get each of these cars. So now everything's just copy and paste. There's no more like, let me see if I can get some more power out of this.
Right.
The work's already done. Now it's just like replying to customers, getting them the file, which is just repetitive, which is fine. It's gonna allow me to travel and stuff like that. I mean, I don't know what people consider good money nowadays because with all the inflation, but I didn't plan on making this kind of money like with this quick, I was like, I mean, 6 figures really isn't much here, and like low 6 figures isn't much here in Colorado anymore.
It's funny how times have changed.
I thought like if I can get to over 100,000 a year, I'll be set for my whole life. That's all I need to survive. Now I'm like, that's not even not enough.
I know.
With today's economy, so.
Yeah, everything's gotten so much more expensive. We talk about it a lot, and it's just inflation in general.
Dude, yeah. Like I went to Smoothie King, and like one little bowl was $15.
Yeah, dude.
Sent my friend to go there, and he's like, "Man, I spent $50 on 3 items." I'm like, "Yeah."
We laugh about change now. You know what I mean?
That's what we said the last podcast. We're like fucking pennies and dimes.
Yeah, what do you do with it?
What is the point, bro?
It's like you're so scared to even use them. You're like, man, I don't want to slow down the line at the.
That's what you were talking about.
And people are just watching. Like, is he serious right now? He's using change.
For real?
Are you serious?
Yeah.
Or it's like that's like back in the day. Remember? It's like back in the day when people used to write checks. You're like, for real? Are you? Are you writing a check for real right now, dude? Yeah. Come on. Like,
I remember my mom doing that like real late.
Yeah. Yeah, so I just like if I have change, I don't know how I end up with change, but I'll wait till it's super late, like almost closing time for the grocery stores, and then I'll go in there and then put the rest on a credit card just to get rid of change.
Yeah. Nobody wants it.
Yeah.
It is weird. At a certain point, you got to just get rid of it, right?
Yeah, but also at the same time, It's kind of scary to know that everything is going to be digital, man. Just imagine if we actually have like a full like wipeout of all like.
Yeah, you don't know where your money is.
What's that new movie that came out not too long ago where there was like a attack on the whole world and it was like a cyber attack and literally killed everything and all the planes were like crashing into the ground.
Oh, dude.
Recent movie?
Yeah, it was pretty recent, and like they were staying in a house.
It was with Julia Roberts, right?
Yeah, she was very mean. She was like a racist kind of. It was kind of funny though.
And all the electric
Leave
cars
the World
were like,
Behind. Is that
Is that what that was? Is that the one?
Julia Roberts.
Julia Roberts. It was a
That's
recent
brand new
one.
Kevin
Yeah.
Bacon.
Yeah, it was pretty.
I saw that. Yeah.
So
I
it's
know
just
what you're
like,
talking
just
about.
imagine if
And
that
like,
happens and
Teslas
it's like,
are like trying to attack them at one point.
they're all
in
just
time.
crashing into each other.
That movie disappointed me so bad with the ending.
The girl watching Friends.
Well, I know. Well, yeah, that too. That was so cheesy. But me and my daughter watched it together, and we were just hooked. She wasn't even going to watch it. I was watching it. And she was like, "Whoa!" Yeah. We sat down. We're watching the whole thing, and we just kept waiting. And we're like, "Oh, this is crazy." And then it was like over.
No ending.
Like,
There's no resolution for it.
What, bro? Yeah.
You just make the best of what's going on. Rebuild civilization.
Yeah. Interesting. And there's a lot of people who think that's already happened, right? That we've gone through bottlenecks where very few human beings survived.
Yeah, I would believe it. I mean, that comes back all to the religion stuff we'll get into later.
Yeah, we can get into that anytime you want.
Oh yeah, that's like a 3-hour podcast.
Sometimes we have to have both of them here at the same time. I feel like.
No, yeah, well, you can't have us both here at the same time because we're not together anymore.
Oh,
yeah, because
I did not know that.
No, it's fine. It's her birthday today. I actually messaged her, but it's
crazy.
It's just like the religion, like it's crazy. I'm very open minded with religion, and Jesus and God are not the same person to me because I read the Bible, and Jesus always refers to himself as the Son and refers to God as the Father. So in my head, they're not one and the same. So, and that's like, we got all these wars going on right now. And like, people are like, oh, Muslims this, Muslim that. I'm like, they believe in God and they believe in Jesus, but they just believe Jesus is a messenger.
Prophet, yeah.
Which, I mean, Jesus did come down here to spread the gospel.
Yeah.
So, but there's all these conflicts and it's like, the Torah and the Quran, the Bible is based off of those. They all believe in Moses. They all believe in, those all existed in those versions, So
that's it's interesting to me that it's so funny, like all the religious wars and like people that die for this and like all this bloody massacres that have happened in history. It's for these like small differences.
And it's like, I'm confused.
You know what I mean?
I'm like, they believe in God too. And they like have like the same, they know all about Moses and the commandments and what they should be doing. Is like the little difference. Well, you think Jesus is God and we think he's a messenger. So now we can't coexist because even though we're all trying to like live the lifestyle.
But if you think Jesus was a messenger, you're going to want to follow his message.
Yeah. They'll still follow it. It's just they don't pray to him. They only worship God, which is.
I've always felt like God is such an individual experience. Like somewhere along the line, we got this idea because I talk to Maya about it all the time because I think we talked a little religion before, but I was raised around like Pentecostal Christians, which is
speaking in tongues.
Yeah. It's pretty extreme.
Yeah.
That's what we're right next to Pentecostal church.
Yeah, we are.
Jaywalkers. Yeah. So we
and then there's United Pentecostal, which we talked about too, which was really crazy. And that's where I had that crazy experience. People were putting hands on me. They're waiting for me to talk in tongues. I faked it. I was like a kid. It was like a nightmare experience. So, but my point with all that is that like, I've always felt like God is a connection for yourself.
It is.
Because I feel like in church, and that's what happens to me. I struggle with it to this day, is like ideas like you're talking about, where I get lost in my head about like, oh, what do I believe? Or, because you see something, you're like, am I being a good Christian? But you're thinking of like, what do we see as good Christian on Instagram? Or like, what do we perceive as being a good Christian?
It's the way of life. The whole thing is to live the right way. Like the whole argument I had about it was like, if it was just about Jesus coming down here and sacrificing himself, and we asking him to save us, why even come down here and spread the gospel? The whole point of him coming down here was to teach us the way to live, how to not self-destruct, kill ourselves. Because like if you have these set of laws in place and you abide by them, it keeps us from self-destruction. That's how we save ourselves, by actually living the way that he taught us. So Jesus came down here as an example of the way we should be. He is the shepherd, right? And you're a sheep, right? So you're following the shepherd.
Well, that's the idea with Jesus,
Yeah,
is that it was the perfect human life.
How this is how you should be. Like, because God existed before Jesus was there, right? So if you think about this, people existed before Jesus, right? So those people didn't get a chance to ask Jesus to be their Lord and Savior.
Yeah,
right.
It was just put out there.
But there was God before that,
and
right?
yeah, and I've heard that addressed too.
Yeah, so you think about it, but there was still all this stuff going on. People didn't know how to put God's word into action and live the right way, right? And then you send Jesus down here to actually show them.
That's what I mean.
How to actually put it into practice.
Mm.
You know, the word of the gospel, because most people didn't know how to put it into practice. They're segregating themselves and putting people out. Like think about it. Jesus hung around prostitutes, all these other people that normally you would get out of civilization. Mm-hmm. We don't want you. You're banished. You're exiled. You know what I'm saying? So
those were his people.
Yeah. So, and it's like all these people that we would exile, not we, but just, human race would exile because you're not going by God's law and what you're supposed to be doing. They're exiled out. And it's like, that's not the purpose of, the religion, So I think
Jesus to me is such a beautiful story because of what it represents to me is not just about Jesus, but it's about humanity.
Yes.
It's like when somebody comes along and lives this wonderful life that's perfect, mm-hmm. In every way. And that's the Christian idea, right? Yeah. That it was perfect, just like God or whatever. And then what happened? You see, they fucking hung him up on a cross. They murdered him in front of everybody. But everybody was threatened by him. Nobody wanted, and you're just like, wow.
I just read all that.
Says a lot about us.
Yeah, I just read all that in Mark, and it's just, he literally had to be sacrificed and come back so people actually believed him. So the problem, he was already trying to get people to believe him, doing all these miracles, but it wasn't enough.
Right.
None of the miracles were enough until they literally everybody watched him die and then come back to life. And they're like, okay, I believe him now. We need to change our lifestyle. We need to listen to the word and do what he says. Mm-hmm. Because at that point, you see somebody die right in front of you and come back to life. Are you not going to believe what they say is true now?
Right.
That they are here and God sent him here to do this.
Yeah.
You're going to believe him after that when all the other stuff people are just trying to find excuses. Oh, well, how do we know this guy was blind in the first place? He could have been, and all this stuff. So but you literally, everyone was there and they saw it. Mm-hmm. It could not be.
Well, that's the idea in most religions about God, is that God is right there at all times. Mm-hmm. But it's the fact that nobody's listening, nobody's paying attention, nobody's trying to tap into that energy or whatever. Because to me, the other thing too is you can see I got the Buddha poster, and Mike knows I've been very influenced by Buddhism throughout my life, and I feel like there's no conflict there at all to me, because Buddhism doesn't really speak on God a lot.
It doesn't, and there's just a lot of conflict with people what they believe. Things can't coexist. If you start telling Christians there's aliens.
Well, and the ironic thing with Christianity and Buddhism is that it's one-sided.
Yeah.
Buddhists are very open to Christianity. Yeah. There's plenty of Buddhists who become Christian as well. And of course they struggle. There's problems in that community, from that. In fact, there's a great book by Thich Nhat Hanh, who passed away a few years ago. I want to say it was 5, but it was probably 20 years ago, the way things go. But it was Living Buddha, Living Christ. Yeah. And it's this long comparison about their different lives. But Mike knows too, I've talked about it on the show plenty of times, that my two beacons of life, of light in life, have always been Jesus and Buddha. Mm-hmm. And I feel like there's different for different reasons. Yeah.
And it's just also, it's just living the right. Well, how you want people to treat you? You treat others that, dude. Everything will work out how it's supposed to. When you're that all this energy is between everyone. Everyone's all connected, and if you treat people right, it comes back to you tenfold.
And that's what Jesus said.
Yeah.
Put others before yourself.
And when you do that, it works out for you. But a lot of people they missed the big picture behind it,
Well, we've got this wiring, right? That we're fighting all the time. We've got these years of evolution and the way that we're just wired for certain things. The same reason a cheeseburger tastes delicious.
Yeah, and I think a lot of it is just lost in translation like this. Let's use Jesus for example. He's the shepherd, you're the sheep, right? I'm gonna put it in more my terms. A lot of people, they follow without understanding why. You know what I'm saying? So say, I have a quarterback. He's a shepherd. I'm the running back. He calls a play. All right. I know where I'm going for the play, right? We run the play. I do it. Just because he told me, hey, you're going to go through this hole and you're going to just run that way, right? So I'm just, hey, I'm listening to you. I'm going to go that way. But I'm trying to word it the right way. It's you want to not just know the play, but know why you're going that way. Like, I want to know, like, okay, he called this play, right? I'm going through the A-hole. Right, the A-hole. Right next to the center. I'm going right next to the center, right? I'm running. He calls a play. I go to the right of the center, right? I'm listening to him because, you know, he's the leader, right? But at the same time, you want to get to the point where you understand why he's having you go there. You need to understand, oh, wait, hey, he's making me go there because the ends are crushing on the outside and they're leaving a gap open in the center. Like, you need to understand the reason why he's directing you to do this. You know, so I think a lot of people just do without understanding the why.
Don't you think sometimes though, in the moment, the understanding isn't there, and then later it is?
Yeah, so like you'll do something, but without knowing the reason why.
Sure.
Is what I have a problem with a lot of times when people like do things because they're not understanding why they're doing it. You know, and that's like the same thing. If I run a play, I want to know the why are we running this play? You know.
Sure.
Instead of just doing it because I was told to do it. And, you know.
Yeah. So, but I think there's something because, and that's the other thing is if that's what I was saying, you get so influenced by what's out there and the way people think about things. Because to me, me personally, I see so much parallel between what Jesus said and like the ideas of how God and Jesus want us to live, and then like ancient Chinese philosophy, like Taoism. You look at these ideas where it's like don't go against the flow of the universe. Like things happen for a reason. To me, you're a great example too because of just the way it's always new opportunities that are coming up, and you're open to it. And I think that's the part that people miss. And I think that's what God was saying too. Is like listen to God, and sometimes you don't understand where He's pulling you, but sometimes you're just sort of going in a direction in the universe. And in Eastern philosophy, it's like following chi, right? There's the life force that's like moving you.
And then people always refer to God as He. I mean, because it's in the Bible it says Father. I was like, how do we know is because He Father could just mean like the Creator, right? It doesn't.
We don't
have to be
the words. I don't think.
You know what I'm saying? We don't have the words for it. So, but everybody refers to God as a He, and it's like God is like everything. You know. So it's like when I think about God, I don't think it as a physical God being. You know, I think of it as literally the way of life. You know, God is the way of life. How He wants you to live. That is like, how like people get their blessings and stuff like that is like actually by living the right way. Like if I treat you, if say you were like on the side of the road, right? That had nothing, I got $100. I give you 20 of it. Sure. That $20 could change your life. And then you see me one day and I'm in the same position you were,
To me, that's what it all comes down to with like humans and religion and spirituality. It's this idea of rising above our biology, I think. Because we have these selfish tendencies. We have all this evolution. It's like survival of the fittest and look out for yourself. And that's where selfishness comes. And to me, that's where like Christianity and stuff is talking about the corruption of the flesh. Like we're naturally just this way. And I think some people interpret it, and that's what I mean. That's one of those images that's out there is like people interpret it as like, we're just evil fucks. And without God, we're useless, right? There's that idea, but I don't think of it that way at all. What are your thoughts? I'm curious what you think on all that stuff.
On everything, I think a lot of people just need a purpose because, like, it's just like you go back to the whole Adam and Eve. It's the knowledge. People wanting to know. Ultimately, is what's driving us. The
curiosity.
The curiosity.
Sure.
Wanting to find out what are we here for. Why were we even created if we're gonna die or whatever.
Sure.
And you like look at animals and it's like they breathe, they do everything we do. So it's like, are we the superior beings of the universe? Or are there aliens out there? And is there our God and is there another God for the aliens? You don't know, but that's what keeps
There's a lot of people now that are feeling like the aliens really aren't space things at all. It's like it was Tucker Carlson was saying that on Joe Rogan's show. Did you hear that episode at all? That's what he was saying. He believes, that's his belief. By the way, that dude hasn't been on any kind of social media ever. He has nothing. Did you know that about that dude?
No, I don't follow.
He's
Tucker
not.
Carlson.
Well, no, he just came on Rogan.
I know. I'm just saying that I wouldn't have a reason to know that.
Yeah, if you didn't hear that episode. But I was just shocked at the fact, but he believes that. He believes the aliens, it's a spiritual thing. He's like, it's demons and angels. People are confused and they think it's, whatever. And I think we are, sometimes I wonder if we are being fed a narrative that it's outer space. Because there's people also that not out of the religious world, they're talking about aliens that say a lot of it's under the water. What do you think of aliens? Did we talk about this at all last time you were here?
I don't think so. We didn't talk about it, but it's like, man, the universe is huge. I mean, we're just one galaxy.
Okay, so let me clarify, because that's always the question. To me, this is no longer a question. Yeah. Is there other life out there? For fucking sure, there's other life out there. The universe is too big. Yes. I don't mean that. I mean like the things where we see like people are sightings and abductions and weird shit happening.
Do I think it's here? I mean, the UFOs are not.
Do you think it's from outer space? Like these are coming from other planets, or do you think it's more likely that all these experiences that we're having?
A lot of it's from here.
Sure.
I believe a lot of it is like us testing things. I can't say if there are UFOs. But I mean, I wouldn't say there's other life forms out there. I'm gonna say that. Have they made it here yet? I don't know.
Just mathematically, doesn't seem super likely.
Yeah.
We're so big, and surely there's other life, but how far away?
Yeah, exactly.
And how much is there? Have they? And that's the other thing. We think of them like us. How's their civilization evolved? Like maybe it's not civilization. Maybe it's a form of life we can't even get our heads wrapped around at all.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
They're celestial beings.
Mike's so quiet over there, just going into deep realms.
I know Mike's like, yeah, I'm just over this whole religion stuff. But also here's the thing, dude. I think the thing about religion is just it gives you a good moral principles how to go about in life.
It helps a lot of people.
Like because, dude, imagine this: if we didn't have a system that taught the way to live, what's keeping you from lying to me about everything? Nothing, right? What where do your morals come from?
Don't you think a person can be totally moral and a good person without having religion at all?
How does that happen, though? How do you become a moral person? But your family was religious, right?
Here's the thing, though. I think because there's this, I think on a certain level we all have an instinct.
Mm-hmm. Like animals?
Like we know love is good.
Mm-hmm.
We know that helping people is good. We know that being nice, deception is bad. It makes us feel bad. Like when you lie to somebody and then you feel bad about it.
And some people don't feel bad. They like
True. No, that's true. But I think religion helps a lot of those people. But I definitely think there's a lot of people that aren't religious at all. I've just known too many of them where it was always puzzling. When I was having lots of doubts with religion, that was something that always stuck out to me. I was like, damn, some of the best people I know that are so good to everybody don't even believe in a higher power. They're literally atheists, which to me is ridiculous.
But they respect the law because they're not out there committing murders.
But is it only law, or would they be good people whether or not there was a written law? What do you think? I don't know.
You don't know. It's hard to say because I think
we have Exhibit A right here.
I think a lot of people, if laws were not in effect, like if it's U.S. law was not in effect, there would be a lot more murders right now just because it's like, dude, I don't have to deal with this guy anymore.
Bam.
No, 100%. 100%. But do I think that there are people out there that whether they were religious or whether there was laws, they would treat people with kindness?
Of course.
And they would just, because we all have this understanding, and that's why to me, it's the overcoming of our biology.
Yeah, like mothers are going to always be loving to their offspring. So like you're going to learn from the mother. Like the mother is teaching her kids and like, or their cubs or whatever the animal it is.
Yeah.
It just naturally, the nurturing from a mother is gonna be instilled in the offspring. So it's a weird it's a weird subject for right now, especially with all the stuff going on in the world with Zionists versus this and. Man, it's just there's a lot of division that doesn't need to be here. People don't understand the whole point of it is just to.
It's the irony,
it's
like
just,
every religion's ever been around is taught love. It's taught like treat people well, peacefulness, not aggression, not hurting people, not, we don't do any of that. We all fight over details in our religions.
I mean, it's just the human nature. And I mean, it's in the animal kingdom. I mean, they got prides and there's organizations. It's organized,
Cliques, Yeah, cliques.
And got your wolf packs. So
yeah.
It's just one of those subjects. You can be open-minded or closed-minded, so, and I'm just always just like, I'm not, it's like I'm watching that series called Evil right now. And it's like the guy who's about to. Did you watch it on Netflix yet? There's a series called Evil, and there's this guy, and he's training to be a priest.
Okay.
And he believes in exorcisms. Works with this girl that's very science oriented, likes to do psychiatric evaluations. So when they're always trying to determine if the person's possessed or if they're just got some kind of schizophrenia.
Okay.
And so they're like they're both like open-minded.
Yeah.
And like one believes just everything's all just demons and this one all thinks it's a science reason behind everything.
Yeah.
And then they both see things from both sides and they're like, okay, like she has no explanation for what she just saw happen, and so then she starts to like doubt everything science. So like it's just
I think
you have
the
to watch
two gotta work together.
Yeah, it's like it's in the same, but they're like both like looking at each other for confirmation. Like, am I going crazy? Is this science or is this something else? So it's a good show, but I just like that there are people like that can not be solely just everything's hard cut one way and things can't coexist.
People are different. People come in all varieties. You're
not going to be the same. It's like if it was exactly the same, how do we progress? If everyone is exactly the same,
we're all just clones.
Yeah, you don't. There's nothing you can learn from anyone else if you're all the same.
Yep.
Right.
Yeah.
Absolutely. We got to be open to that stuff. So much.
What's going on through your head over there? He's like, yeah.
I know.
I'm tired. I'm tired of this religion stuff. Let's just go to something else.
I've been stopping myself from asking too. I'm like, I don't know.
I'm not a big religion guy.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well,
but just be a good person.
That's my thing.
That's why to me he's always
just be a good person. Like, dude, that's what it really takes. Just be a good person.
Be a good person.
That's all it really takes.
And to me, that's where Christians lose me because I consider myself a follower of Jesus, but I also consider myself a follower of Buddha, and I just feel like I'm a follower of like
like I said, just be a good person, man. And it's like people lose track of like what being a good person is. Cool, you follow all the commandments, right? But then you sit there and you ridicule someone who doesn't follow the commandments, and it's like, dude, like I was that way at one point, like, oh, you stole from Walmart, oh, this and that. And it's like, honestly, everything is situational and it can always be justified for your means. Just like they got the Gaza and Israel war. Everything's justified by their own means. Hey, I'm attacking them because they attacked us. And if we don't stop them, they're going to keep doing it.
Yeah.
So everybody is all what fits your agenda. Everything is about what fits your agenda. If my kids were starving, I had no money, I asked for jobs, I couldn't get a job, I would steal from Walmart. It's justified in my head. I'm like, Walmart's not going to miss this.
Yeah.
So
when
it's
you look
all
at the big picture.
Even when you look at it, it's all about what you justify. And it's like, for me, it's just like, I don't want to do something that intentionally harms someone else. Like, that's my whole thing. It's like, I want everybody to be happy. It sucks. Everybody in the world will not be happy.
No.
But I would love to see everyone happy and whatever they feel they need to do, not hurting someone else, but whatever they feel they need to do to reach that happiness, I would love to support it, but that's just not how the world works, so because it's going to make someone unhappy, you doing certain things, you deciding to change genders is going to make someone else unhappy, so it's just.
Yeah.
Live and let live, man.
Yeah.
That's really it. Yeah. What do you think, Pierce? Might be a good time. We'll transition over to those fun facts. Let's go.
Yeah. So again, anybody wants to be a part of the fun facts? I put you in the fun facts this week. I got your email.
I didn't read through all of it.
He's got a million.
It was long. It was, I do have a lot of emails.
Yeah.
I bet you do.
4 different emails for it.
And so, anyways, the average woman smiles 62 times a day, while the average man only smiles 8 times a day.
Yeah, that's interesting.
Yeah.
Fake smiles.
Fake smiles. Yeah.
They do that a lot.
It's probably like because you look at them and yeah.
Why is this person looking at me? Yeah, smile.
Dude, this one made me laugh. The Japanese zoo that spent 4 years trying to mate a pair of hyenas before they eventually realized they were both males.
How do you not know that?
4 years.
4 years.
4 years. All the effort.
The biologists at that zoo are fucking dumb. Because right? It's just it's Mother's Day this weekend. So Mother's Day became an official U.S. holiday in 1914. It was signed into law by President Woodrow Wilson.
Yeah, there was another fact in there too about Mother's Day is different in different countries.
Yeah.
It's not just like an international one.
Yeah.
Universally.
Yep. The number 5. So you've been to Thailand. The number 5 is pronounced ha, and Thai. So 555 is also slang for ha ha ha. Like if you're texting somebody, 555, ha ha ha.
Didn't know that.
A study published in 2020 found that mothers pregnant with girls were more likely to get nauseous than mothers pregnant with boys.
I've heard that.
Yeah. There's all the things that you hear, but not all of them have studies, like the nose thing, right?
Yeah.
That, like if your nose gets really wide, then supposedly it's a boy. And that's my wife's family. I don't know if that's just something that I don't know if that's a Filipino thing or what.
Wives' tales.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's a million of those kind of things.
The Colosseum over in Rome is over 1,900 years old, and it only took 8 years to build it.
Just imagine.
I know, right?
How many people did it take to build that?
Yeah.
How many people died building that thing?
No
Oh,
shit.
for sure. Yeah. I mean, it's the same like with like pyramids too, right?
Yeah.
Lots of
How many people died?
Yeah.
That's where another place I want to go. See
Where's
the
it?
pyramids.
Yeah.
Oh
Egypt.
yeah, definitely.
I was reading somewhere there was like, it's like one of the best places for like Americans to actually go live and have American jobs is in Egypt because it's cheaper too, and it's like it's cheaper because you're right there by Europe, right? So you can go to anywhere in Europe, cheap, Morocco, Jordan, like all those kind of things, and then Italy, France. But yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Cheap, but is it safe?
The healthcare system is decent, but for Americans, not for regular, Egyptians down there. But this is decently safe.
Yeah, you never know. I don't think anybody's anywhere is totally safe anymore. Anywhere you go. This was mind blowing, dude. The costs for emergency exit slides on planes are quite surprising. As much as $30,000 each. Repacking the slide can cost up to $12,000. I guess that's in labor.
That's not bad.
Hey, he's getting ideas over here.
That's not a bad price. I mean, they pay $15,000 to wrap helicopters in like to transport them. They pay $15,000 to wrap those.
Damn, dude.
Yeah, that's what the guy does. That's
the wrapping thing that's over there. Yeah, yeah. They do boats and stuff like that.
$15,000 just to wrap it up. And some black saran wrap.
Damn, I was looking at the bite pressure. What was that, tigers?
Yeah, like 1,500 psi.
No, 1,050 psi.
Yeah. Isn't the crocodile higher, or is it the tiger? So I remember watching
probably crocodiles. I would guess.
Extreme, the most extreme you ever. I used to watch that when I was a little kid on Animal Planet.
Yeah,
the most extreme. I'm pretty sure like the bite pressure of the crocodile was like.
Because it's
way up there.
because it's just like the one thing, right?
Yeah.
You can,
but you can't. They can't open up.
They can't open up,
right? That's why you can hold it. Yeah.
It's a one way.
Yep,
he's right. It's 4 to 5K, 4 to 5,000.
That's dumb.
PSI.
Mm-hmm.
That's dumb.
The thing with the tigers though is the teeth.
Yeah,
they were saying like they have like the razor edge to them or whatever.
Nah, you get sliced up. Jeez. The original. So a lot of people don't know this. Like a lot of the Disney movies are based off of like the Grimm stories from back in the day, right? So like your Pinocchio and all that stuff. Those are dark stories. They're not like happy stories.
Right.
The original story of the Little Mermaid, Ariel doesn't marry the prince. He marries someone else, and she kills herself.
That's the actual.
Yeah.
I had to make it family friendly though. Nobody wants to see that.
Yeah.
Everything's been redone.
Yeah.
Especially on Disney. It's crazy.
That's kind of a problem, I feel like.
It is.
Yeah.
When you keep changing it.
Yep.
Just to make everyone happy.
Yeah. And how we think of wild animals. Like these cute and cuddly, approachable, characters.
Oh, gosh.
Always have something funny to say. Meanwhile, you run into a bear in the wild. It's not going to go down.
It won't
like
be
that.
like Bear in a Big Blue House.
Yeah.
It won't be like that at all.
Not at all. Americans spend more than $3 billion on flowers and plants alone for Mother's Day.
I kind of hate it. I'm not a big flower person, but I'll do it. It's just it's like a total. I get it. It's the gesture.
Yeah,
that's all it is.
It's the gesture, but I would rather provide something that is beneficial.
Well, what I like
besides the emotional,
Sure. Yeah, like what I like doing we always get her plants, my wife. Mm-hmm. So it's to me, it's different. Like when you get flowers that have been cut off of a plant,
it's gonna die in 3 days.
Yeah, sure.
That's different. Like a plant that you're gonna take care of. It's
A little different.
Well,
yeah,
like-
you got big plans for Mother's Day coming up for Tiara or your mom or anything?
Just it's my mom brunch and then dinner.
Oh, is that like a tradition you guys do? Or
No, not really. It's all up in the air. So, but no, that's restaurants too. That's the busiest time of the year. Mother's Day is for restaurants because everyone's taking out their moms, right, and doing this and that and everything. So, yeah. Oh my gosh. Speaking of restaurants, recently went to get some sushi this past week, and we went to this place out in Littleton. And you ever had what is it called? Is it omakase? Omakase style, whatever. It's the chef's choice, basically. And so they prepare it for you. And so there's like different tiers and everything like that. But they personally make it for you, right? And they put it on you, and you're getting like piece by piece. So you're not getting a whole roll. You know, they'll make a roll for you, and they give it to you, or a hand roll or anything like that. And so I was eating, and we were out, and my friend, she got the piece of sushi. It was the what was it? It was the Kobe beef slice, and it was on the rice, and she was eating, and the headmaster, sushi chef, right, comes over and he's like, sake. He's like, sake. And he's like pouring shots, and he's like this, and she's over here chewing still, and she goes, I'm still chewing. And she was like, do something. And I'm like, I don't know. What do you want me to do? I was like, and so he pours it, and he's like, all right. He's like, hands over the thing, and I look over for a second, and then she takes a shot, and we're all laughing, having a good time. And she was like, I was like, she was like, I spit it on the floor.
Really?
I was like, what? What? She goes, I meant to put it in my napkin. I just spit it on the floor. And I looked down, and I was like, oh my God, it's on your shoe.
Oh,
and it was just,
no.
it's on her shoe.
Didn't have a napkin.
That's what she tried to do, but it didn't work that way. And so spit it on her shoe, and I'm like, oh my God, it's on your shoe. And she's dying laughing, and it's finally it's on the floor. And I'm like, you can't leave that there. I was like, you can't leave that there. She goes, I have an idea. And I was like, oh. I was like, no, you're not taking that with us. You're not putting that in your hand and taking it with us. I was like, no. She goes, no. She goes, I'm going to go to the bathroom. She's going to pick it up, take it to the bathroom, and throw it away.
Oh, dang.
Yeah. It was
Oh,
it was one of those things where it's uncontrollable laughing because you're just, I look down, it's legit on her shoe. Just
that's so funny, dude. The lengths we go to not be rude, I guess.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
yeah, that's pretty crazy. I don't know.
1 billion seconds. Back to the fun facts.
32 years.
It's 32 years. 1 billion seconds.
Gives you an
32
idea
years.
of how big a billion really is.
Yeah.
People don't think about it. But that's crazy because think about how fast a second goes by.
Yeah.
Start counting, you won't get to 1 billion for 32 years.
Yeah.
That's fucking nuts.
Just continuously counting.
Yeah, numbers can get insanely big. There's only a certain amount of numbers I think the human brain can actually comprehend. I think you get past a certain number, it's just make believe.
Yeah.
Yeah. What is
I wonder
28 trillion?
I wonder if there's somebody out there right now just counting just to see if they can get to a certain number.
There's someone out there.
Like a
for
Guinness.
everything.
There's
I
a
know,
Guinness
huh?
Book
There's
of
a
World
record
Record.
for it,
Yeah.
for sure.
Yeah. Someone's out there doing a Guinness Book of World Records.
I bet you someone has. I will probably look it up, see if someone's counted to 1 billion. No, they wouldn't have. It was
Yeah.
32 years.
Yeah, dude.
No one is going to record that
For 32 years. That's so many tapes.
I think
so much video.
they would record someone for maybe 24 hours to see how many.
And do a rate or something.
Yeah,
That's how
see
fast
how
they
many
can
they
get,
can
yeah.
do. How many numbers they can count in 24 hours? I think that's probably been done. That's probably a Guinness World Record. I'll have to look it up.
Look it up, Dollar. See what it is.
What do you want me to look up? Sorry, I was reading the fun facts.
The what the highest number
Highest
that somebody's
highest
counted in
number
24
counted
hours.
in 24 hours. Because you got to think it's going to be a lot less because you got to be 1,576.
Yeah.
Blah blah blah. So it's going to take you. You can't get that many in.
Yeah, actually counting out loud. Yeah,
Is there a world record?
Yep, it's a Guinness Book of World Records. Let me get
See?
it pulled up. Yeah, that's so crazy how there's
So what's the amount?
Is it 15,000?
Alabama verbally counted every number up to 1 million. This looks different.
1 million?
No. There's
What?
no way.
In 24 hours?
No, that's what I'm saying. The record is different. Highest number counted out. Oh, so just continuously counting.
Yeah.
Wow.
Without making
What's the number? Yeah.
mistake.
89 days. Where's the fucking number? 1 million.
1 million in 89 days.
Yeah.
Somebody really had that much dedication. They're really
89 days.
3 months. They were willing to go 3 months of just counting.
Bro, that is unbelievable. Good time, man. Different kind of conversation every time. You have to come back. I want to see.
We're all over the place. So we didn't really get into it, but I mean, I don't want to talk about money too much, you know. And I mean, tuning stuff is going well with, you know, more than almost as much as I was making with Jaywalkers without the overhead. You know, so.
Yeah, that's a big thing.
I don't want to focus on money. I just want to focus on more like opening people's minds to different things, and it doesn't have to doesn't have to even be religion, you know. So
change it up.
Brother.
Just change it up.
Yeah.
And with that dollar, it is a wrap. Cheers.